What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the DFS Sweatshop. And MLB is soon approaching. This is your DFS Jerusalem coming to you. Just wanted you to get a feel for the MLB game. We are here on DraftKings, where we're going to be just jumping into, well, right now, the World Baseball Classic is going on. And as we open this tab up, we can go ahead and check out how we're going to be setting up our baseball rosters. As you can see, we've got two pitcher spots, one catcher, first base, second base, third base, a shortstop, and three outfielders. Now, it's a little bit different on FanDuel. We're going to get into that in my next video because we're going to be covering both sites. We do all sports here in the sweatshop, but we're just going to be getting into it just a bit. Now, what you're looking for as far as pitching. There's a couple of ways you can go about grabbing your pitchers. Now, once the season starts, these like Felix Hernandez right now being 6.8K, the highest salary pitcher on tomorrow's slate, 2-game slate for the World Baseball Classic, you're going to see way higher pitchers. I'm talking when you got cats like Max Scherzer, a few other guys, like very high dollar pitchers. They're going to be 11, 13, 14, sometimes almost 15K in salary. And you've got the same thing you had in basketball to spend. You've got 50K in salary here to spend. And so what you want to do is you want to win the pitching battle. You want to beat your opponents when it comes to pitching. And a lot of ways you can do that is you can grab a high dollar pitcher and put him over there, and also grab a low dollar pitcher, somebody who you think can get the win. Because in MLB DFS, getting the win is very important. It's very important. We should maybe just take a look at the rules and go through those just a moment, just to talk about this, well, just to get a really good feel for how we're going to be scoring. Because remember, it's not basketball, where in basketball you get defensive stats, block shots, rebounds, things like that. But in baseball, it's all offensive stats. The only defensive players, so to speak, that you're going to have in baseball are the pitchers, and the pitching is the most important part. If you can get the pitching right, if you get the pitching right from slate to slate, you have a really good chance of cashing. And this is not as hard as basketball. There's not going to be, all of the scratches and the guys that, are playing but are really not playing, and the guys that are supposed to play. It's not going to be like that at all. It's not going to be like that. You're going to pretty much know who's going to be set. And the good thing that DraftKings does, as well as FanDuel, they make they make the available pitchers easier to see. So you don't have to worry about rostering a pitcher that's not starting on this particular game. So they're going to tell you who the starting pitchers are. You're going to be able to look through those, pull up their player cards, see what they've done in their last few games, check out splits, game logs, the matchup that they do have. So it's not like basketball where you have to go so far outside of DraftKings in order to really do some research. Now, if you want to do advanced research, you can definitely look up things like Fantasy Labs, and you can come to the sweatshop. We've got stuff here. There's a few other sites you can go to, but for the most part, pitching is going to be the most important part of your MLB lineups. So let's go ahead and jump into the place where we can check out. Yeah. Now, this is where this is under the DK MLB rules tab, where you're going to see, how the rosters are constructed, and what you can spend. It'll tell you here, like in each contest, the participants will create a lineup by selecting players listed in the player pool. That's the space that we were just at. The player pool that we're talking about. Like that is where we're going to be. So the player pool consists of MLB or World Baseball Classic players, because now we're in the World Baseball Classic stage, because I think opening day is on April the 12th. So it's going to be just a few more weeks until we can really get into this. The roster requirements, we just looked at those. It's 10 players, and it's going to include players that are that's scheduled to play in at least 2 different MLB or World Baseball Classic games. The rosters must have no more than 5 hitters from any one team. So that's a lot of hitters, no more than 5. And that's why stacking is such a major part of the MLB game, especially over here on DraftKings. The 10 roster positions, we've got a couple of pitchers, the catcher, we went through that already. And this is how the hitters are going to accumulate points, okay? Now, a single is 3 points, double, 5. The triple is going to be 8. The home run is going to be 10. Runs batted in, 2 points. A run, just a regular run, is 2 points. the base on ball. If a guy takes 4 balls and gets on base, that's 2 points. If a guy is hit by a pitch, of course, that's very similar to a base on balls. That's 2 points there. Stolen base is 5. So this is the way that the hitters are going to be accumulating points. And as you can see, you got a home run here. That's going to be 10 points. Well, if you got a home run here, that's going to be 10 points. So what you want to do is, a lot of people, they try to roster the home run hitters, all the guys that they really know, and you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that, because right here, you look at this, that's 10 points right there. It's an RBI, so that's 12 points altogether, and also it is a run batted in. So if a guy hits a solo jack, that's like 14 points. That's a lot of points, and that's why people make it's so hard for cats to resist that long ball. But that's not something that you can always count on. You think about it, a guy's gonna hit, between some of the best guys in the league are gonna hit between 30 and maybe even 50 home runs. There's 162 games. How often are you gonna be able to predict when a guy takes one deep? So while you can always kind of plan in your strategy to roster home run hitters, do not forget those small ball guys, because you're talking about stolen bases right here being 5 points. So if a guy gets on base and he steals a bag and he gets advances and maybe scores the run, he's done the same thing that a guy does that hit a home run. And guys are just as likely to steal bases as they are to hit home runs. So that's something that you've got to pay attention to as well. Here are the way that pitchers will accumulate their points. If a guy pitches a complete inning, that's 2 and 2.5 points. If a guy strikes somebody out, that's 2 points. A win is 4 points. And that's why we were talking about that just a few minutes ago. It is so important for you to roster pitchers that are going to get wins. You can look at over last year's stats. Those should do very well. I know DraftKings does have a table when we talked about the splits in the last 10 games. Those are still very important, even though it's going to be at the beginning of the season. If a guy earned runs allowed, -2. So if a guy gives up a home run, he loses 2 points. That's definitely if a guy gets shelled, man, it can really kill you. It can kill your whole lineup. The win, of course, we talked about that. A hit against is -0.6. So every time a pitcher gives up a hit, he loses 0.6 points. Based on balls, he loses 0.6 points. When he hits a batter, he loses 0.6 points. If a guy pitches a complete game, he gets plus 2.5. If a pitcher pitches a complete game shutout, meaning he doesn't allow the team to score any points at all, he gets plus 2.5 points. If a guy pitches a no-hitter, that means straight up 9 complete games, no hits, he gets 5 points. So there is the potential for a pitcher, for the better pitchers in the league and guys that you catch, to really score a ton of points. And that's why pitching is the most important part. So I would implore you to go over your pitching. Look at the pitchers coming into the season. Not a lot can go on right now during spring training that can really affect what's happening as far as pitching, as long as those guys stay healthy. But you've got to know who the better pitchers are. You've got to know who the really good small ball batters are, as well as your home run hitters. You're going to make all of that work together. Now, in the next couple of videos, we're going to be talking a little bit more about actual roster building. There is a core 4 strategy that we do use here in the sweatshop. It does apply to baseball as well. And what you want to do, a lot of times, you want to stay in the first 5 batters. Your core plays, you want to keep that in your first 5 batters. And there's always a really good opportunity to stack batters from the same team. And a lot of this really applies to what handedness the pitcher is. If you got left hand pitchers, then you want to make sure that you're not. If you're facing a left-hand pitcher, then you probably don't want to roster that same-handed batter in the same instance. Because think about it: if the ball comes off my left hand, right, and I am a left-hand batter, there is a very small window for a left-hand batter to get out in front of a left-handed pitcher's pitch. It's a very short window. I can get jammed and the pitch can come in on my elbows. So, but if I'm a right-hand pitcher, a right-hand batter, and a guy's pitching with the left, that means when he pitches, the ball comes across my whole view. I get to see way more of the ball. So if you have left-handed pitchers, you want to roster right-handed batters against them. If you have right-handed pitchers, then you want, let's say a right-handed pitcher, the ball's coming all the way across, then you want to roster left-handed batters because he gets to see way more of the ball. Let's say the ball's coming off of the pitcher's right hand and I'm a left-handed batter. I get to see his whole movement. I get to see the ball come all the way in, and I can take a clean shot at it. So be really mindful of that. What handedness guys are when it comes to pitching and when it comes to batting, and we're gonna have a very profitable MLB season, man. Thank you so much for watching this very short, quick video. I'm going to be doing a series of these, just getting into roster construction, showing you how to build these rosters, whether it's on FanDuel or on DraftKings. Thank you so much for your participation and welcome. It's going to be a really nice MLB season. Thank you so much, and we're going to keep it 130 when it comes to MLB because we keep it 300 during basketball season. Thank y'all, and have a wonderful day.